Good afternoon. This is Speak On It. It's an interesting program, I think, for today because it addresses an issue that many of us know exists, but we would like to pretend that it didn't. Situation many of you all might be aware of. Last Tuesday, I think it was, somewhere at a track meet in Virginia. One of the participants hit the other one in the head with the baton. And social media and other media now have really given a lot of attention to it. But I think the real problem is the parents of the girl that hit the other one appeared to miss the opportunity of being an example that would be more appropriate for parents. What they did is they did the street level example of those so-called blacks of today versus the Negroes of my day. Back in my day, something like that, the parent or the grandparent would have told you off the top, apologize, be through with that. Because truthfully, the girl was punished. So all of that other conversation could have been left alone. They disqualify her. That's what they do in sports because sometimes an athlete, you get caught up. You finna get cut off. You get hit with a ball, you get elbowed, you might go electric. But because the parents, so it seemed to be from the commentary people are making, the parents did not take the opportunity to think. So we're gonna play these clips, and although this is a live opportunity for you to get in, you won't be able to get in. Now, if you want to get in and get it out and get it in, you can call Wednesday night, WVON, from 9 to 12. But today is sort of like just a forerunner of what we will get to. Would you start those pieces, Miss Amani, run the first two and then I'll come in after the second one. Thank you.
Cut off and I tried to pass it the first time, so I let her go ahead. So I knew when I got fully on the curve that I was just gonna have to push through and pass her.
Then out of turn 4, a strike with the metal baton to Tucker's head sends her reeling. Officials immediately disqualified the team from Icy Norcom, but the damage was done.
I still can't believe it. I'm still in shock. Everyone's texting me, checking up on me, and I appreciate that. But I'm still trying to take it all in. I can't believe it happened.
Tucker's now dealing with the effects of a concussion and a possible skull fracture. Now all the Tuckers want is an apology and an explanation.
Why did you do it, and why haven't you apologized yet? On the curve, I had kind of got cut off and I tried to pass it the first time, so I let her go ahead.
Now, what you heard wasn't a lot to ask. At the beginning, that parent and child was willing to just take an apology. But I think the word is escalated. I don't think because of the Tuckers, who I thought was a traditional Negro type, but when I look at the other ones, traditional black type. I'm being real particular. The Negro type understand common sense. The black type roll it out like those parents did. And that's part of the problem in our colony. This confusion about common sense and correctness. That ain't got nothing to do with color. That ain't got nothing to do with racism. That ain't got nothing to do with Trump. That ain't got nothing to do with Democrat or Republican. There are some things that are simple. But something I haven't heard anyone speak on, but I do believe that it's a factor. But we can't play all of this material, so I have to say this. There is a piece that you might miss, so I'm going to tell you so you will listen for it. The girl that hit the girl says, I tried to contact her, but I was blocked. Now, I don't know, but I would imagine that if she knew how to contact her, but she was blocked, there might have been an implication that they might have known each other. You say, oh no, they didn't know. They both was in the championship competition. I do not believe that those girls had not had contact before. This thing might be over some other type of relationship altogether different than what we are talking about. Yeah, I wanted to throw it out there because you act like you don't understand. You do understand. Anything could be happening here because it's too far out of whack. It wasn't that serious because the system has something already in place. We disqualified you, now go somewhere and sit down. That was it. But now, it got real ugly. Run this other piece, and we'll just let you look at it.
Something about the parents of this young lady who allowed her to sit down with this news station and have one fake tear come down one eye and continue to gaslight us and play in our face like we did not just see her mollywop that young lady upside her head and give her a skull fracture. That's really giving me the ick, because at the end of the day going in and she is going to be in a lot of trouble because her parents have failed to teach her accountability.
You're physically hurt, but you're not thinking of my mental, right? They're going off of one angle. A couple times hitting her my baton, got stuck behind her back like this, and it rolled up her back. I lost my balance, and when I pumped my arms again, she got hit. I know my intentions, and I would never hit somebody on purpose. They're assuming my character, calling me ghetto, racist slurs, death threats, all of this just because of a 9-second video.
This is sad. I can tell you as a former collegiate track and field athlete myself that parents should teach their student athletes is accountability and sportsmanship. I don't know. There's something about the parents of this young lady who allowed her to sit down with this news station and have one fake tear come down one eye and continue to gaslight us and play in our face like.
Now think. There is a lot to be said. I guess, for either side. Because one of the things that has happened behind what you have seen and heard is that now the girl has been charged with assault and battery. Actually, I think that's a little over the top. But that's because the parents, in my way of thinking, didn't know when to do the parent thing. And that is, be responsible, be an example. And when you looked at the girl that did the assault, I don't want to judge nobody because everybody have their own energy. That child, I'm gonna say, I think she's sort of nervous energy type, and she one of those, I think, that laugh quick, but she don't really mean harm. And her laugh and her cry can fake you out. But I think that crying with one eye, dropping some tears is a magic trick. Although I know some can do that. But as we go on, as you look at it, in other postings, you will see that girl cover her face up and have a real live laugh, and then go off into the cover-up and try to talk or cry. Now, all of that would suggest to me, being old school and all, that this family allows some energy and witness some energy of manipulation. Therefore, they do some energy called enablement. And you look at the father and you listen to him and the mother, you do get to feel. And they had other children, according to what they said, that have gone through, the whole thing of athletic participation. Most folks know that this is nothing that should have ended up taking up a whole week on social media or anywhere else, because that should have been something that common sense and good parenting would help you understand. Let's hit this piece with the media and the court system might be suggesting.
Battery out of Lynchburg. Now, I spoke with Everette's father, who told me his family is going to fight this to help clear their daughter's name. The Lynchburg Commonwealth's attorney confirmed on Wednesday that Everette was charged for her role in the incident in Lynchburg, where she is seen hitting another runner, Kalen Tucker, in the head with a baton. Earlier this week, I spoke with Everette and her dad. She said what is seen in the video was an accident. Everette said she lost her balance because the runner did not provide herself enough distance to cut into the inside lane of the track during the race. Everette says the hit was not intentional, but she's received backlash online, including death threats. We spoke to Lynchburg Commonwealth's attorney Bethany Harrison, who explained the outcome for Everette if she's found guilty in juvenile court.
The court has many what we call dispositional options available to it, many things the court can order to help in that goal of rehabilitation. It could be community service, it could be time in detention, and a lot of things in between, like counseling, services of that nature.
The Portsmouth NAACP is reacting to the charge. I'll tell you what they had to say at 5. I'm Danielle Seda, WTKR News 3. Senior Alaila Evertte has...
See, that's where the tragedy is. Even though the child is 18 in Illinois, you can be tried as an adult at 17, depending on the circumstance. This is a misdemeanor. And hopefully before they get to that, and we will hear in the next clip where the parents apparently has been gotten to by some angel of common sense, maybe that step can be avoided. Because although it's a misdemeanor, as people mature, that could come back 10 years from now and create a problem with that young person's life over what? Okay, yeah, I think she intended to hit old girl. I think she did. And she hit her hard enough to give her a concussion. So that means she might have intended to get her attention. But at the same time, we see people play baseball. And the pitcher will take a ball, and everybody know he intended to hit dude in the kidneys. He intended to hit dude in the knee. He intended to hit dude in the head. And most of the time, they do not get a criminal charge. I'm just trying to have a little balance here. Yeah, it was a bad move, but now you got the NAACP. Now, there was some serious commentary on that, but I didn't bring it here because I know a lot of y'all got your position, and I didn't want to contaminate it, but I do have a question. What do this case have to do, I'm going to say, with the traditional business of the NAACP, the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People? So somehow in Virginia, when you got a situation involving 2 black teenagers, somehow the NAACP steps up. Well, I can understand it in Chicago because the NAACP in Chicago, and that's why they want to get in it, but it's like all the other parasites and pimps. What they used to do, they don't do so much. What they do now is they compete for nonprofit money to say they doing this or that. But things changed. But this is another opportunity for people to imply a racial issue. Yeah, the girl said she's been under pressure from the media in this place and that place. But come on, y'all, don't make everything racial. This had nothing to do with no advancement of colored people on that level. This had to do with the attitude change of colored people. You understand? Because the colored people, we thought we got over that. But now here you are bringing it up in a situation. Now, that's your business. You're in Virginia, and maybe Virginia ain't quite like Illinois. Up here, even here in Chicago anyway, they need to stay in their lane. But they don't need to work like that now. They don't need to be the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, because the other colored people, not the Negro, descendant of slave colored people, is the priority now. And getting that money, like you saw, I'm going here. That female, Stacey Abrams, get damn near $2 billion for a nonprofit that wasn't really established. Had $100 in the bank and get $2 billion? How is that possible? Because that's how they play it, politics. So I say that because in Chicago, if I would try to apply for a grant, they would say evidence-based. They would say how many years you've been in existence. And although I've been in existence for damn near 50 years, they would still say how much money you got, and we want you to partner with somebody because we don't like your style. That's what they would say. So when these non-profit organizations like that get into business, that takes away from the seriousness of what we need to work with. We need to work with parents understanding that enabling your child when there is a clear example that that child needs to be taught better, trained better, versus running straight to the media. Now run this last clip, Ms. Amani, and then, hopefully you all have been able to come up with your own commentary and see how parents are truly a major part of the problem with young people. Because you could see that the swag of the father and even the mother. And as you listen to this clip, you might understand better.
Happened on y'all side? What's y'all story before we air this footage?
And they're not even looking at the facts. The fact is she was tripped. The girl caused the accident, not on purpose. She, like I said, she wanted to win.
She wanted to win.
She wanted to win. She cut my daughter off. In the process, she got injured. Like I said, we apologized before her getting hit, but like I said, she never meant that.
And we coached our children up until high school. We seen our children get bones broken and fractures and get fouled. And we had to, it hurts, trust me, but we're here to teach them a lesson as well. We have to teach them good sportsmanship, things of that nature. So it's funny, the person with probably the most sportsmanship, too much, I would say,
exactly,
is the one being looked at by the nation as an animal. And you can check the facts and the records, and I invite you to come look at everything we have, and you will see it for yourself. And it won't take long for you to figure it out. The fact that she's been made to be a monster by the public is horrible, and we all catch bad deals.
I would check up for her if she was wrong. We just try to help fix what she did. But if she was wrong, she was there wrong. I will take up for that. That's not our values. We don't do that.
Someone reached out to us and say, "Well, what happened? What happened on you?"
Now, see, wouldn't that have aborted all of this fallout? Had that been done earlier, that's all the girl and her mama was asking for, was an apology. But even in the apology, they still went to blaming the victim. And that's exactly what happens in our colony. We love to blame the victim. She moved into my lane, tripped up, that precipitated the hit. So it's her fault that she got a concussion. But I'd imagine that at some point, the preacher, the politician, or the lawyer probably told him it'll be cheaper to just apologize. Because they've stated that there's some type of suit, da-da-da-da-da. I think we all could learn a lesson from this. And I was talking to some people, matter of fact, we did a show down here Friday, me and some other people, truth be told. And the brother that hosts the show, he's from the Hispanic community. He's a Mexican American. And he was saying that in many cases there's a similarity between different pockets of their community as there is in our community. And a lot of what happens, and I don't want to call it racial. I really don't like that racial word. I really, truly don't. Folks think I'm a militant. Folks think I'm a that. Man, I ain't none of that. I really don't like that type of polarization. But I am a tribalist. You say, well, what's the difference? Well, the difference is this. The difference allows me to be able to see deeper than the complexion. And what happens is, as I looked at the father, there was a part of me, and it came out in the show Friday, that's why I brought it up. Those of us that work on the street level in nonprofits and other capacities, we recognize the energy of the father. We recognize the swag of the father. We recognize the energy of the mother. And we recognize what they say about those earrings in her head. $12,000 earrings, ain't nobody hating. They said something about the same type of pearl earrings that was in Kamala Harris' ear. I don't know what's up with them pearl earrings, but that got a lot of attention. And if the girl didn't cover her mouth so often, you would have saw probably $30,000 or $40,000 worth of work in her mouth, braces and other things. That suggests that that family has access to business, capital, whatever. And they probably, I don't want to say spoil, but they probably come to the defense of their children quick. And sometimes when you come to the defense of your children, and you already know the nature of your children because you know the nature of yourself, you know you're a little bit bogus. But when you out here like some of us are out here, we saw through it, and that's the sadness. But I'm glad they apologized, and I hope that the girl, they can cut a deal and she don't get a scar for life because of a transgression. I'm gonna call it a mistake as a child, and it messed up the rest of her life. So until next time, Alafia, peace.